Today, we're going to talk about things that I have found that I do within my business that isn't necessarily common in quotes, the field. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I'm excited to chat with you today. I just spent the last couple of hours at one of the Ice Out protests hosted by South Bay Stands Up, so a local organization that hosted it. It was great. Shantae and I went. We went with two of our friends and then one of our friends' daughters and all volleyball folks. And it was great. There were so many people. If you're not on Shantae's email list, I highly suggest go to her Instagram account. It's very easy to sign up for her list or on her website, obviously. And I think she might be writing about that this week. And it was just amazing. I genuinely cannot believe there were so many people there. It was insane. Absolutely insane. So just really, really happy that we went there. It's just, great to be in community with folks who are on the same page. Aside from that, this weekend was, East Coasters, very hot. It was so hot that we stopped playing volleyball early on Saturday because it must have been, I didn't actually look at the temperature. It must have been at least probably 80, 85. That's really hot for January. Very, very hot for January, now February. So don't know, man, global warming, it's, shitting on the East Coast with the ridiculous cold and snow. And over here, it's making it really hot. Now, I will say, I don't know what it's been like inland. Obviously, like wildfires are a concern here. Last January, we had the fire that was deemed as arson. So I don't know, but I don't have credit for that, but I did see that as like an official thing at one point that was deemed as arson, but we did have a decent amount of rain. So I'm hopeful that it won't turn ugly here as far as like it's now so hot and dry in February/January that we have wildfires again. I mean, like, let's hope not, but not seeing any issues as of now. I say not seeing any issues. We don't have like we have the local weather, but obviously not knowing what's going on inland again, like I said. So I don't know, maybe there is an issue, but nothing that has come up in our local news. And we usually hear about, most things, even though it's not right next door. So with that being said, this weekend, I'm just trying to think, because on Saturday, we also did something. I'm like, what did we do on Saturday? Volleyball was great. We ended up seeing a lot of people that we don't always see because people visited our volleyball class. So we were able to actually catch up with people that we don't always see because they stopped regularly taking class. So that was great. Again, like it's great to have local people and friends and, nice people to hang out with. I cannot say how grateful I am, or I can't downplay how grateful I am for that. I know it's not the same for everyone. And like in online business, especially if you are an online business owner or in a brick and mortar business owner, like you don't have a ton of people that totally get it and totally understand everything that you do every day and what being a business owner entails. And while these folks are not necessarily all business owners, it's just nice to have people to be around when you don't have like an office to go into and like having work friends. So I imagine our volleyball friends and hobby friends are how we would have work friends, because obviously we work from home and we don't have an office to go meet people in. Nor honestly, that sounds very difficult for me. So anyway, just grateful to have the community there. Oh my God, what am I kidding? We went to one of our really good friends' daughter's gymnastics competition on Friday. And that was awesome. It's really cool to see these little kids be so disciplined and so athletic and amazing. So watching that was really fun. We went last year as well, and it was genuinely so neat to be able to support her. I am the person who has like tears in my eyes when like they do really well. So like she did really well on her bar routine. No, sorry, beam routine. And I had little tears in my eyes. It was just like, it was one of those things where I'm a very emotional person. And I love to be able to support her in that way and our friends in that way. And it was just great to see them. They're from Arizona, so they flew in, and, you know, we get to see them once a year. That's who we go on our yearly trip with. But, and who we were with in Mexico this past December. But it's just so great to see them and hang out with them. On the business side of things, I am officially booking into, is it April at this point, for custom website design. I am booking at least 2 months out, which fits the bill for anyone needing photos and what have you. You need time to get all that stuff together. So I am consistently booking about 2 months out for that. And I do have my website audits that I offered on Cyber Monday. I have 2 available each month. So how that's working is, I'll link it in the show notes, but if you're looking for a website audit, they are lower cost. So I did that on purpose because you're going to implement the changes. So they are for sale. I have 2 slots. Technically it's 4 because I have 2 for the website only and 2 for the website and content plan. So there are 4 slots total for all of February. They're all live right now. You can go buy them if you want to do that. They're ready to go. So if you end up investing in one of those, you will get my recommendations in a video format, as well as my cleanup and get found kit, which is 6 PDFs that basically have my brain on them. I worked so hard on those, and it was just such it was a grind time, if you will, before Cyber Monday to crush all that and get it ready for you all. But I re-released it. I actually had slots open in January, but January was such a weird month that I didn't want to promote it. And, you know, everything continues to be as such, but I am trying to build something that's worth saving. So here we are. And I would love to help those who want to do that, do the same. So those are available for February. Once they fill, and then we book in March. So there's a place where you can join the wait list if you hit the sold out page. So that'll be there, but you can invest in those whenever you would like, as long as there's an open slot. If there's no open slot, we just get on the wait list and I'll let you know when a slot opens. So just that, really the only 2 big things that I wanted to say. SEO school, I think I'm going to open it up at the end of March, beginning of April for enrollment. Again, no solid dates yet. I'm also trying to see if I can explore a way in which I can have it be an evergreen option with like 2 open cart, close cart things. But in the interim, you can also join should you want to. I don't know yet. I'm not sure, because the thing is like when it comes down to Q&A, I like to have an open close for that, like a 6-month period. I do find that it works really well for the calls. And I'm honestly seeing not many people use the community. So I'm thinking I might have an SEO school community that just is there. And when you enroll, you get 6 months of access. You can see what's been previously asked. You can ask things, but it's just an ongoing community that you gain access to and then you lose access to. So I think that's a really good option for me, just because it's going to allow people to join in the interim. But again, haven't solved that yet. Don't exactly know if I'm going to do that or when I'm going to do that. Well, that's really everything I have as far as updates go. Just again, I want to acknowledge as well that anybody who's listening to this podcast is probably pretty familiar with my brand and like pretty familiar with my discovery call process, what have you. But I do offer free discovery calls if you're looking to work together. And you also can see everything I offer on my service brochure, and any clarification questions I welcome in my DMs, in my email, whatever you want to do. So just rest assured, like all the information is there should you ever have any questions about working with me or options for working with me, what have you. Okay, let's jump into the episode. So what I'm going to talk about today are things, and this is like, I want to say this I want to make sure I start. This is not to put my process and how I do things on a pedestal. I am not saying it's the best way to do things, but what I am going to tell you is how I do things. So things that I do that I have seen to not necessarily be normalized across the board based on experiences I've had or what I've witnessed, either personally, secondhand, or something that I can just see as far as like, I wasn't told, I didn't experience it, but it's obvious. So what I'm going to tell you about are things that I do in my business that if someone, whether they're in like my field or if they're in your field, whatever field you're in, if I said I do these things and then you take this and take what I do and apply it to your business, if you were to tell it to another business owner, they might look at you and be like, what? You do that? Like, why would you ever do that? And I say that not saying like it's a bad thing to do, but it's just outside of the normal things that are typically done in the field. Now, I'm going to speak for my business. I'm not necessarily going to speak to physical therapy because also I owned a cash-based practice and there were things that I did inside there. So at the end, I'll go through and I'll just be like, I'll give a brief rundown of like, the things that I did inside that practice, potentially. We'll see if I have enough time. I like to keep these underneath 30 minutes. So we'll see if I have time. But this is mostly going to focus on my business as an online business owner, but you can definitely apply a lot of these to your own business and structure in your business. So I have a running list. Nothing is in order as far as like importance to me. I just basically brainstormed a list of the things that I wanted to make sure I mention. And I'm probably going to do a social post on this as well, because I do think it's different and I think it's cool. So, number one, I offer payment plans without an added fee for done for you services. So when someone books a website with me, like a custom website design, my package is, let's just say X price. If they need to split it into payments, and I offer up to 4 payments, so up to 4 payments, you can split it up to 4 payments without an added fee charge. That to me is, I rarely see that. So I enjoy doing that. I understand folks' bottom lines. I understand that it's nice to be able to do that. I do not recommend you doing that for your packages, just so you know. Like a payment plan for a PT visit package is a one-off session. So please don't discount your packages. That defeats the purpose. Or put your packages in payment plans. That defeats the purpose of a package. Just pay for one session at a time. Anyway, sorry, had to do that little sidebar. But when it comes to payment plans, I offer them for my services, and the payment plans will oftentimes extend past my service date, which is like actually unheard of. I don't know many folks who do that. Now, again, I'm not like networking like crazy, so take that for what it's worth. But if I have a service on March 2nd, sometimes I'll have people pay me or have payments going 2 months after that, just because like that's just how the 4-pay payment plan worked. And I have yet to be burned by that. I'm not salty by that. I feel good about that. So I do it and I enjoy it. I enjoy that I'm able to do that. I want to help people, and that's something that I offer. And I don't think it's very normalized. Number 2, I do not chase people. And I said, I'm not going to talk about brick and mortar, but this is the same fucking thing. So I don't chase people. If you contact me and you want to work with me and I send you a proposal and you don't get back to me, okay, I'll see you when you get back to me. I don't chase people. I don't send people a follow-up email to be like, hey, did you decide yet? I don't cold reach out to people, DMs or emails or otherwise. I don't do that. I don't chase people. I want people to be knocking down the door to work with me when they contact me. I want people to be knocking down the door and being hell yes about working with me when they work with me. I never want it to be like a lukewarm decision. I don't want it to be a decision that they made because I followed up with them. Yes, a follow-up email can be important because things fall off the radar. I get that. But I will tell you from my experience, the folks who are my best clients and the folks who are ready to go and truly want to do the thing are the people who don't let it fall off the radar because they're ready to go. They would have booked yesterday if they could have. So I don't chase people. I don't want to chase people. That's a lot of energy. So I do not actively and this is why I have a thread out there that's like, I don't care where you are in my funnel. When you're ready, my funnel, my non-existent funnel, I don't care where you are. When you're ready to work with me, you'll be ready to work with me. And that makes me so excited for that moment. And I'm so happy that I could be a resource to you. But in the interim there, my only job is to continue putting out content and continue to be a resource that you can trust, both free options, maybe it's low ticket options, maybe it's my newsletter, whatever. That is my job. My job is not to babysit you as you go through this hypothetical funnel. Genuinely, it's not. And also, why you're in this hypothetical funnel may be different why someone else is in this hypothetical funnel. And one of my strengths is individualization. Just in case you wanted to know, one of my Clifton strengths, I think it might be my number one, maybe my number two, is individualization. So I don't want to send you some generic ass email about my services and have you in this random funnel. I just don't. It's not something that I want to do. Now that doesn't mean I'm not sending, I don't have multiple email sequences. Yes, of course I have multiple email sequences, but for my high ticket services, like a website design, I'm not getting on a call with someone and then sticking them into some random website design funnel to get them to make a decision to book me for a website audit or design or redesign, whatever. That's just not what I'm doing. When you take a course with me, yes, I have a couple follow-up emails that say, hey, how'd it go? Hey, what do you think? So that's different, but I am not chasing people, especially if I have a discovery call and I send a proposal and they decide to not move forward or they just don't get back to me. That's okay. You'll get back to me when you're ready. And I'm cool with that. That makes me so happy. And on that note too, if I used to email people when they booked a discovery call and didn't show up, and I actually don't anymore. I have decided that if someone books a discovery call on my calendar and they essentially book time that someone else could have had, I don't email them to follow up if they no show. And that's very, very, very rare. It's happened one time this year so far, but I don't send a follow-up email because again, if you're ready to work with me, you're going to be knocking down my door and I don't want to be following up when you no-showed a discovery call that is free, right? And that's taking up time on my schedule that someone else could have booked. And I don't want to chase people. And that was the same thing in PT. When I owned the clinic, there was no chasing to be done. If someone knew about you, if someone didn't know about you, whatever it may be, I was never hey, Sarah, did you decide if you want to come in and get PT? Or, I know that we met for a discovery call, sending an email to check in on you. Here's my random email funnel I chucked you into because we had one discovery call. I never, even if I had a massive clinic, I could not buy in to sticking people into an email funnel for physical therapy. I can't do it. And I know that is a very, very polarizing comment or a polarizing statement because I know that some folks really believe in it and believe in the funnel-esque of physical therapy and sticking people into a funnel. But it's just, I can't do it. I just can't get behind it. Maybe that opinion will change. I don't know. But I will tell you that it just doesn't feel right in my body. I'm reading my handwriting and it's so freaking bad. Number 3, I don't sell on my discovery calls. The last thing I do is sell people on a package or sell people on a service. My job on any discovery call, same thing with physical therapy, again, because I don't chase people and I value autonomy. My job on a discovery call is to answer any questions you have and to lay out your options and tell you the pros and cons of each option. And then I will give you what I would recommend if I were you. This is what I would do. That's my job on a discovery call. Then I will say, I'm going to send you a proposal with the options we just talked about. You get back to me. No pressure, no rush on my end. That's literally pretty much my script, if you will. And it's not even a script. It's just what I'd say, because I don't sell on a discovery call. I actually never want someone to look me in the eyes and be like, yes, I want that $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 package. I know I'm so glad you're freaking ready to go. But I will always tell people, I'm going to send you the proposal. You get back to me via email, because I never want your decision to be pressure from being on a live call with me. Like, I just don't. So I never sell, quote unquote, sell on my discovery calls. I actually had a discovery call once, just so you're aware of how much I don't sell on my calls. I had a discovery call once where I actually left my office after the call, went in the hall. I asked Shantae, I was like, Shantae, I need you to come out in the hall. I need a hug. And I had such a visceral reaction, and I started crying. Which is like really weird for me, because I'm in my business, I'm very, I'm ready to go. Like, whatever you need answered, I'll help you out. Like, I got this. I'm very, very happy. There's no like stress on calls, but I was like berated for not selling on the call by someone. Like, literally the person berated me on the call, because I didn't sell to them on the call. They were like, sell me. Like, I want you to sell me. And like, I'm totally paraphrasing what was actually said, but it was so harsh that I actually texted one of my clients who I had a live call with 15 minutes after that discovery call. And I was like, hey, I actually need about 15 minutes. Can you please meet 15 minutes later than our scheduled call? Do you have capacity? Because I need to take a moment. And it worked out just fine, but proof that I don't sell on my discovery calls, I actually got berated for it, which again, that person did not become a client, because clearly our values are not aligned, which is, again, I am so happy about that. Our values are not aligned. That was very clearly demonstrated. And I set boundaries accordingly. I blocked that person from scheduling calls with me. Like, we're all set. However, that's the extent to which I'm not selling on my calls. Number 4, are we on? I don't take more than one person in the same area or in the same service for my done for you services for SEO. Done for you services SEO. So if I have 2 PTs in Redondo Beach and they both offer pelvic health physical therapy, I will not take on those 2 clients. Do you realize how easy it would be for me to just copy and paste the strategy and make a fuck ton of money off those people? And I say a fuck ton, I'm like, that sounds really ridiculous. To make double the amount of money and one strategy, do you know how easy that would be for me to do? I feel so gross just saying that out loud. Like, I feel so gross, because that's what I see being done elsewhere. And there's no copy and paste for SEO. Like, genuinely, there is no copy and paste. And so I don't take people, I don't take people because 2 people in the same area, because I don't want to compete against myself. I want to be number 1. I want my client to be number 1. And how am I going to choose who gets more attention? And like, are we going to battle it out for number 1 and number 2? Like, this sounds terrible. So I don't do it for that. But number 2, for I guess 2/3, I also don't do it because it feels so gross. I genuinely cannot imagine having 2 clients and copying and pasting the strategy. So again, like, that would be so easy for me to do, but that's so out of my integrity that I would never do it. And that is something that as a PT, you can probably copy and paste a bunch of stuff. Now, I'm going to say this with an asterisk. My coaches who do programming, I'm not calling you out right now. I'm going to say that very blatantly. I am not calling you out. I want you to know programming, if shit works, you can copy and paste that across a bunch of clients. They are not paying you to customize their program. That's a little bit different than customized programming. So if someone is paying you for customized programming, you're probably not going to copy and paste between the same person. That's what I'm saying. So folks with like templated workout programs, I'm not over here calling you out. Please know that. I absolutely not. That is a templated service, and that's what you're doing, a templated service. If I said I'm doing a templated SEO program, that would be the same thing. But I'm talking about done for you strategy, etc. So pair that in your brain with a customized fitness program for someone who's paying you to customize it to their space, their wants, their needs, whatever. Anyway, I don't do that. So a little bit of confusion there, I know, because I posted on Instagram. People were like, oh my God, you already have a physical therapist, so you're not able to work with me? No, it's just if you're in the same location and you're an in-person business and you're a PT who does pelvic floor, I don't work with 2 pelvic floor physios in the same town. If you're an online business, which I did recently have to turn someone away, you're an online business and you go after the same niche, I won't work with the same person because you're going after the same niche. And that to me feels like I'm going to have to choose like who to give the best content to and who to try to rank number 1. And it just doesn't feel good in my body. So done for you SEO services, done for you SEO. I don't work with the same person in the same town because I don't want to copy and paste things. So if you want to like relate that to something you do, we can think about like customized PT, customized fitness programming, whatever. Number 5, I refund people. If there is a values mismatch or if something is not working and someone is unhappy, I've had it happen very rarely, but I will not hesitate to refund someone and be done with it. So I had an experience, I'm not going to go into it, but I will tell you that I was extremely disheartened that the online business space is so effed up. When there's a values mismatch and 2 people, like genuinely, there's a values mismatch and the person who is the client is not getting what they want or what they expected, or, it just is not a good fit, I will refund accordingly. I will give a prorated refund. I will refund accordingly. I also think it's important when we talk about, values mismatch, but also just expectations mismatch, or like when you book my services, like just so you know, there's a non-refundable deposit. But I will tell you right now, I have refunded that before because it's not because I want people to like think better of me. That's not what it is. I genuinely just want that person to go away. And I say that with so much kindness, but my peace is worth so much more than like battling with someone. And I like to be able to sleep at night. I don't like to hold people's money for services that I don't provide. I typically, if someone books something on my schedule, like I can usually fill the time with something else. And I think at the end of the day, everyone's a freaking human and I'm a human, and policies are put in place. And also they are enforced by humans. And there are policies that I will absolutely hold to. I will absolutely hold to policies. And I understand you're probably like, well, Lex, you don't hold to one policy. How can you hold to another? Well, believe me, there are policies that I will hold on to. But when it comes to refunds and like holding people's money and they are not, their expectations are not aligned with mine, or our values are not aligned, I'm going to refund that person so I don't have to deal with it. Genuinely. Like I want to be able to sleep at night, and it is what it is. I have built full websites before and someone would be like, I never had to give a refund, but like the initial feedback would be like, oh, I want to change this stuff. And it ended up being like such an easy fix. But in my mind, I'm like, I will literally just refund your money. Like, I don't want you to be unhappy. And again, like I'm putting myself at a loss there because I lose my time. I lose what I did. Like I get it, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, I in my integrity, operate on my integrity, and based on experience I've had, my gut has never led me astray. And so I listen to it. And I think like, if this thing is going to be a problem, or if I feel like this thing would be better off if I just did this other thing, AKA refund, I'm going to do it. And I don't feel bad about it. I feel salty about it. I likely won't work with that person again. But it's one of those things where, and I've had to refund, I want to say in the last 8 years of my business, maybe 2 people. And it's not even, it was like a course thing that they didn't realize, or I don't know. I can't even remember what it was. One time someone like changed their website date and they decided they didn't want to do it. I refunded the non-refundable deposit. I think that was refund number 2. And that was in 2025. Just because they decided they didn't want to do a website anymore. So it's like, shit happens. I get it. And I'm happy to refund accordingly when necessary. Like, it just makes more sense and it helps my body, my peace. Like my peace is worth so much to me, and I don't want to like lose sleep over stuff. So when it makes sense and it aligns with values, like I will refund accordingly, which I don't think is common. And I think people are really contract heavy, and like I have a contract, but that contract is enforced by me as a person. And there are things that I take into account when I either enforce or I don't enforce a contract. So anyway, take that for what it's worth. The next one, I teach on my presentations and I teach on my calls. I was requested to speak to a group, and the person who requested me to speak was like, so can you make sure that you teach on the call? Like, make sure they take actionables away. And my first thought was like, of course. What do you mean? Like, why else are you bringing me in? Like that, it was so confusing to me. And then they clarified and they had said, I want to say it was further down in the document. It was like, they have had guests before just bring in like a bunch of theory, but no actionables and like no teaching. It was just like not opinion based, but just stuff that could not be implemented. And it was like when you're on a webinar and they teach about a bunch of stuff, but they hold the solution from you and they make you pay for the solution. So I teach on my webinars and on my calls. I don't like have stuff that I don't host things that I don't actually teach concepts in. It feels really, like I said, it feels weird to think that that's a thing. The next one, I also teach on my calls. So the same thing, no red tape is what I want to say. No red tape on my calls. So if you pay me for an hour of time, I will do whatever in that hour of time. You have paid for an hour of my time. So I will answer whatever calls. We can go through things on calls. I've been on calls where there's red tape, like, oh, you booked a coaching call, but that actually doesn't fit inside this coaching call. And I remember being like, that should probably be on the website because that's literally the only reason I booked this call. But now I have to fill this time with something that I didn't book it for. So that I don't have red tape on my coaching calls, which I think is important. And it's important to me. Now I need to just say, there are things that I don't do on coaching calls that are outlined. Like I will not do heavy copywriting on a live call. I can't do that. And you don't want me to do it either. I promise. So there are things that I don't do on live calls, like copywriting on a website. But that is very clearly outlined and stated. It's not a surprise. The next one, two things that are just kind of like, they feel kind of random, but I felt like they were important to say. I actually really don't like the term pick my brain. I see it being used all the time, like pick my brain sessions or pick my brain. I want to pick your brain. I want to like have coffee with you and pick your brain. I genuinely never want someone to pick my brain. Shantae was like, I can't remember. I'm like, how about I pick your pocket? I don't really know. I can't remember what phrase she used one time. And I was like, yes, that's exactly how I feel. I hate that phrase. So I don't like that phrase and I don't use it. So if someone wants to ask me questions, I refer to that as a coaching call. That's so like picky, and I get it. And I know that absolutely no one means anything negative by saying pick my brain, but I just don't enjoy using that term. And I always lead when I have a question for someone, in like that I don't work with, or like someone in my field, I will always lead with like, hey, if this is a paid coaching call thing, please just tell me. I don't technically reach out to a ton of people for questions, but when I do, it's just like, I'm always like, hey, if this is a paid coaching call, please just let me know. I will go book a call. If it's something that you want to answer via DM, awesome, but I don't want to like disrespect your time. And just I do feel like just the words around it, not calling it a pick my brain or I want to pick your brain. I feel like those words are just, And again, like if you're listening to this and you've said it to me before, I'm not like annoyed by it. I just don't call my stuff that. And I don't like refer to it as like, let me pick your brain, or I don't ask people to, I don't know, share their picked brain. I don't ask to pick other people's brains. I would rather just be like, I don't know, refer to it as a coaching call, or do you have coaching, or what have you. And I see it used all the time, like clinicians in Facebook groups, like wanting to pick each other's brains. And I'm like, do you want to pick each other's brains? That doesn't sound great. I don't know. I just feel like I don't think everything, and again, like I feel like I need to like walk it back. I don't feel like everything needs to be a paid coaching call. Let me just say that out there. And like folks who have DM'd me and emailed me, you know this. I definitely have like a line as far as like, okay, this is a little beyond paid or a free back and forth here. But it's more or less just like the expectation around a pick my brain session. It's the expectation around it is that it is free, and whatever is asked in said free pick my brain session is free, which means that, you know, you're really fast at it. So it must be really easy to tell me. And I'm like, yes, I'm really fast because I'm very knowledgeable and I have honed this skill for however long, just like other folks have with X, Y, and Z, physical therapy, OT, chiro, whatever. Anyway, I just don't love the expectation around a pick my brain session. It's like, I want something that, you know, let me pick your brain on it. And that to me just feels kind of icky. Yeah, let's just go with that. It feels kind of icky. And lastly, I'm very, very picky with my time. And I'm trying to be a little bit less picky, but genuinely, I think it would be great if, you know, we all were on the same page with being picky with our time, that it's a-okay to be picky with our time. But in my book, I schedule my personal stuff first, always. And there are many podcast episodes, I feel like, on my schedule and like how I do that. But I genuinely feel like it's very common to like just add in another appointment, or like, I'll take you on my lunch, or I'll stay late for you. And like, I do believe there are situations where that's a-okay. Like I will take a client a little bit later sometimes, but that's my choice. I will say in the early stages of my business, I used to be like, I'll talk to you at 9:30 p.m. my time. Of course. Like I was at a stage of my business where I said yes to everything. Yes. There were very rarely no's. And at this point, my time blocking and how I choose to either say yes or say no, I will oftentimes look at my you know, accessibility, if you will, as far as like, do I have capacity? Do I want to do this? What am I saying no to? Who are my other clients that day? There are many things I look at before I say yes, sure. And again, like I'm just super protective of my time, and I don't reserve my whole day for work, right? So like I have the morning routine. I'm very protective of that time. And what I am working on is like, sometimes I am protective of my personal time, like my lifting time, if you will, protective of my lifting time. And I was like, oh, well, if I'm lifting, I shouldn't be answering emails. But what I've decided is like, it's a-okay to lift and answer a couple emails if I'm within work hours, or if I want to, if I choose to, like, yay. So happy about this. So happy about this. So it's just one of those things where, again, everyone is going to do their own thing. Everyone is going to do what they choose. And as long as you're okay with it and you accept everything and everything sounds good to you and it feels good to you and you don't feel salty about it, great, do that. I just think that especially in my field of things, there are folks who are just like, I talk to clients all day, every day. I get back to them on Sunday night. Like, and I think that's a-okay in some worlds. And that's fine for some folks if that's when you choose to batch your work or whatever. But for it to be an expectation is really tough for me, at least for me. So again, I really gave you the PT summary or stuff that in the clinic that I believe, or that I went by. And I will say that just to sum it up here, this has all been learned by no's or by icky feelings. Like, I didn't start doing these things because I'm like, this would be a good idea. I mean, the only thing I can say maybe I decided that was the payment plan option, but and I guess not taking 2 clients as well. I was like, this doesn't feel good. But regardless, it still is a bad feeling in my body. So all of this stuff I have either learned because I said yes and it felt icky, or I just said like, oh, do I want to do this? And it feels icky when I think about it. And I'm like, ooh, I don't think I do. So all of this stuff is developed over time and expertise and experiences and just time. And this is not these things. Some of these things I'm reading them and I'm like, I never would have said that 8 years ago. But with time comes a lot of clarity and a lot of maturity. And I do believe that your opinions and your outlook and your expectations all change over time. So in 8 years, I might look at this list and be like, I would never do that. So again, like all of this stuff is very flexible and not specific to a profession or any, like for every human. Obviously, it's not to be universally applied here, but just giving you the insight for maybe you want to consider doing something a little bit different, or if you're thinking, you know, maybe you need a little bit of permission to do something that you want to do, even though you never need permission to do those things. And I feel like that's it. And you know, one thing I didn't say, and I'm just going to throw it in here, it's also putting your prices on your website. I need to do a whole thing on that, but that's also another thing. I put my prices everywhere. So yeah, putting my prices everywhere, all the prices everywhere. That's a really big one that I do that I don't see as like a huge normal in the space. A lot of people have to like book a call to get my prices, and I don't like that. So another thing, I have a whole 2 episodes on pricing. So the most recent one in 2025 is the one I listened to because that's my updated version of the one that I originally did. So yeah, all that to say, everything is not universally applicable, and obviously, and you need to figure out what feels good for you. And it all goes back to knowing your values and also just being aware of things and how you feel and taking the time to notice, you know, that didn't feel great. I never want to feel like that again. How can I control that? How can I change that thing? Or, ooh, I actually don't like that person requires their clients to do this thing first. I don't think I want my people to do that. How can I change that? And just being aware and noticing those small things, which does take, you know, mental capacity and energy. All right. I said I was going to keep it below 30 minutes and I lied. It's 42. Thank you so much for listening this week. If you have questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you again for listening. I will catch you next time.